Hello and good morning. I am here with you today, and today we're going to talk about male infertility and 3 ways you can work with your body to increase your male infertility. And the reason I'm covering this is because many of you may be actually walking through your trying to conceive journey, and you might be struggling a bit. And I know from personal experience how, I don't want to call it traumatizing, but emotionally charged that can be, I guess is the best way to say that. Because right, we are trying to conceive, we want to start that family, and things just aren't happening fast enough for our liking. We think things should just happen, right? Why isn't it just happening? And before I get started and jump into this, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. So for those of you who do not know me and this is your first time watching me, thank you for coming. My name is Amanda Ignat, and I am super passionate about all things pregnancy and childbirth, including the journey to get pregnant, because I myself walked through infertility and I walked it alone. And I want you to know you're not alone, and you have options and you have people that you can turn to. So a big part of what I do is empowering people to just stand up and take control of their experience, so that they are the ones asking the questions, that they're the ones pushing the envelope. Because when we stand up and do that, we tend to get better results. And I have a friend, my friend Erica Hoke, who is an amazing infertility specialist. Like, she knows a lot. And I just want to say this because she was given a less than 1% chance of ever conceiving and having her own children, and let go from her doctor's office because they couldn't do anything for her. She is a mom of 4 because she didn't give up. And that's what I want to instill in you as I share information and as I go through and share information. And I always touch on infertility every week because it is an epidemic in our country. So let's get down to 3 ways to increase for male fertility. 3 ways to increase male fertility. So this one's going to sound a little funny, but did you know that if your husband constantly runs hot, that can actually be inhibiting his sperm production and his sperm quality? So little known facts is that you can actually eat cooler foods to bring down and kind of balance out your hot-bodied husband. So what that means is, let's eat more watermelon and more cucumber and more citrus fruit, right? Like stuff that's going to cool down the body. Sounds good to me. I mean, why not? I love some watermelon, and who doesn't like watermelon water, right? So eating things that are like a cooler thing that kind of bring that coolness to the body can be beneficial to his infertility if he's suffering. And a lot of times we fail to look at the male in the situation. And I know that it comes in at some point, but I think that really when we realize that pregnancy isn't happening fast enough for us, that we always look to the woman, and we're always, as women, we're always internalizing it. Like, it's me, there's something wrong with me. Why am I not conceiving? But your husband plays a part in it, and you're not in this alone. And one of the things that I found is that women during this, we feel so much pressure to get pregnant on top of the pressure that we're giving ourselves. And what that does is it just causes more friction. But we don't discuss what's going on with our husbands enough to really open the conversation. And I'll be honest with you, your husband is probably struggling with a lot of the same emotions that you are, just on a different level. So keeping communication open and having your husband tested early in your journey is far better than waiting until you've gone through all these different things. Because for women, it's so much more involved to pinpoint. And a lot of women just go as undiagnosed infertility. I myself am one of them. I never figured out why I couldn't conceive on my own with our first. And then I conceived 4 more times after that without any help at all. And we did make lifestyle changes. So lifestyle changes is really important. Are you willing to make the lifestyle changes? But having, like, changing your diet, eating more salads, more fruits and vegetables will really help bring body temperature down if he's a hot body. Reducing drinking alcohol, smoking, and drug use, including caffeine. So if he's a drinker, maybe sit down and have a talk, like, hey, can we cut back on this until I conceive? Or, like, I don't know, just have the conversation. I've never had to have that conversation, but my husband's more of a social drinker and we don't go anywhere, so not very social. That makes sense. So if you, like, if your husband's a drinker or smoker, that is a conversation to have as well. Like, that could be giving more power to, like, not having the sperm count, not having the quality of sperm needed for you to conceive. And the last thing is exercise regularly. If he is an active guy, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about in that department. But if he's not an active guy, you want to encourage him to, and maybe both of you can get up and go for a walk in the evening together. Like, make it a joint effort to get more active, because it's good for both of you and it's good for your trying to conceive journey. It's good for conception. So if that's something that needs to be brought up as well, there are conversations that can be difficult, but I assure you that open communication and being honest with your feelings, having those hard conversations will make you stronger together. You'll get much further and you'll feel supported throughout your journey, even in your feeling alone, because you're having those conversations with your husband and you're facing them together instead of you trying to do it by yourself and trying to pretend that everything's okay. And then I'm going to give you a bonus tip here. So did you know that foreplay has been known to increase your sperm quality? Foreplay. Have more fun in the bedroom. Have more fun. Flirt with your husband. Pursue him like you did when you were dating. Flirt. Dress up. Do all the things. Tease him and have fun before actually going into it. Especially if you've been trying to conceive for a long time or for a while, you know that it can get to feel like a chore. Like, oh, we got to get this in because we're trying to get pregnant, right? Like, oh, I'm ovulating. Let's go. Yeah, it kind of takes the fun out of it, and there's no enjoyment. And like, there's enjoyment obviously because there's a climax, but then what? Then it's like, okay, now we got the 2-week wait. But what does that leave you with? Okay. So if you, like, look at it every time as like, ooh, I get to be with my man, and you add that sex appeal, you add that emotion and that flirting and that sexiness back into it. If you've been at it for a while and you're out of practice with that, add that back in, and it can increase his testosterone. It can increase his sperm quality. It can increase your chances of conceiving. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found it enlightening and funny in ways. And I am so blessed to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak into you and help you along on your journey. If you're watching this in my group, thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful to have you here. If you're not in my group yet, you're more than welcome to come join us. My group is Open-Minded and Empowered Birthing Mamas on Facebook. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, share this with your friends who are on their own journey, and make sure you don't miss any of my videos, because I share lots of information about pregnancy and childbirth. And I am so grateful to be here and speaking in this way to empower women and couples around the world.